Hey everyone, this is Ferguson Media. My name is Jack Devnarain, and this is your Good News Check-In, the podcast where we feature the most exceptional people who are bringing to life the vision of a prosperous South Africa. Faye Prinsloo, welcome.
Thank you so much. It's so lovely to be here.
How nice to have you here. You're musical director of the Joburg Queer Chorus.
Yes, I am.
What do you do as musical director?
So I corral all the queers in our community to sing.
Corralling queers, is that what you got?
I mean, the pun works, it works.
Yeah.
So my job is basically helping to curate the music, teach the music, and kind of get it performance ready for the choir to sound as good as they possibly can.
That must take not just weeks, but months of preparation and rehearsal.
So yes, we have two big events in the year. So we have 2 seasons for the year. So we have 6 months in preparation for a concert. So we start in January, and then we have our seasonal performance in June. And then we start again with the second season of the year, which is in July, and then we have a performance in December.
That's incredible. That's a lot of work. So the Joburg Queer Chorus is a non-profit organization, am I right?
Yes, yep. Correct. It started basically just in COVID with Tom and Guy, who used to live in Boston. And when they came back to South Africa, they realized they would like to sing in a choir, but for queer people, because they used to sing in the Boston Gay Men's Chorus. And so they came back to Johannesburg, they realized there's a gap here and we should create it. And so they started the choir, and it was so fortunate that Tom's mother, Ruth Coggin, is also a really good musician, and so she started the choir as a musical director. And what they basically wanted to build was a legacy, so that even if they weren't around, that the choir would still exist for the community. And that's why it's been so important for us to maintain the NPO status.
What is it about having a group of queer people focused on this musical grouping? What is it about the music and the people that connect and make it special?
Music is universal. It speaks to so many different kinds of people, and in the queer community there's so much from our culture that has been on display through the music, and we have so many beautiful artists that have kind of pushed that needle forward for us, and so celebrating that is just an absolute privilege to be able to do something like that with the community.
What was it like starting off? I mean, if you're putting the pieces together during COVID, at the time when, as we remember back then, those horrible days during lockdown, when live theatre performance was probably the most inhibited, most affected by lockdown. What was that like, trying to make that come to life then?
It was actually quite crazy. So the choir started, I think, in Feb, and then a month later, they had their first rehearsal, and then a month later, boom, lockdown, which would stop a lot of people, but you know, queers, we keep going. And so there were online Zoom singing sessions and rehearsals. And I think what is so important in this is that in lockdown, you're stuck in your own home and you feel so lonely. And I think that was kind of the foundation of what the community created, was that there was always people around in that situation on a Tuesday where people could log into the Zoom and see other friendly faces, that you're not there alone doing this.
Wasn't that part of the charm, do you think? Because we were creating online or virtual communities anyway.
Yeah.
And people knew, they had a sense that we got to come through this safely, and at the time that this ends, we have the opportunity then to actually get people into the room.
Exactly. I think that anticipation must have been so huge. I unfortunately wasn't part of the choir then, but I've heard the stories from so many people that are still in the choir that were there the first season. And I think one of the greatest things was that there's that anticipation, and as soon as we were able to socially distance and have a rehearsal, even though it was so standing very far away from each other and wearing masks, it was just so exciting to be in a room with other people that wasn't your pets or your family, I think.
Was the plan from the JQC always about having a public showcase?
I think yes, in a way, because 6 months of rehearsing and you have nothing to perform and show everyone, look how hard we've worked and look at what we've done, I think has always been the case, that we would like to share it with the community. And since it's beginning, we've kind of changed it and made it bigger and bigger. And now we have a huge production, and that's kind of what we work towards. But the community comes first because it is a community choir. So the showcases and everything, I think showing up on a Tuesday is far more important for the members than the showcase itself.
I think that's such an important grounding element, in that you show up first for your people.
Yeah.
And then whatever you get to explore and do as a group when you're in performance, that becomes the icing on the cake.
Yeah. I think it's difficult for me as well as musical director. I mean, it's my job is to get everything perfect, and then often I have to be like, hey, no, remember, this is for the love. It's not for perfectionism. And I think what's lovely in the community is that we have people that will show up for you and say, hey, like, we see you, we see how hard you are working, we see it and we appreciate it. And that's the beauty of it, is you can be going through the hardest time of your life, but you're still coming to rehearsal, and you don't have to say anything to anyone. You just know that there's someone there that's ready to hold your hand if you need it.
What was your journey to becoming musical director? Did you always have that in mind when you joined?
No, not at all. So I am a musician and a choir conductor for schools, and I actually went to the concert in 2024, the December concert, and I took my housemate with me, and it was actually under the guise of, hey, we're going to join this choir together, and this is going to be fantastic, and it's going to be awesome. And so we joined, and I had a lovely first season with everyone in the choir, and Jacques, the musical director of the time, a fabulous human being, and I was so grateful to have that season.
Jacques Leroux.
Yes, Jacques Leroux. And Jacques Leroux, after that season, resigned, and as heartbroken as I was also looking forward to like seeing what the possibilities were, and I was humming and hawing about it, because I didn't want the community that's made me feel so at home to become a job. But I did eventually take the job, and it's been the greatest decision I've ever made in my entire life, because it's not a job, actually. It's just a passion and a love. Yeah.
And what kind of commitment does it take from you day to day, week to week?
Well, there's meetings, lots of planning meetings to make the production going. I choose a lot of the repertoire, and I have to prepare the scores so I can help teach the music, alongside Nick Harrison, who's our assistant musical director. Not just that, I also do some of the arrangements as well. So I write some of the music for the choir, because there's some pop music that hasn't already been written for choir. So to try and reinvent it that way. So apart from the Tuesday rehearsal, there is like the spill over into the other days, but it's worth it. Yeah.
You see, these are the little technicalities about the work that you do, because music is a language on its own.
Yes.
And when it comes to musical expression, I suppose you could define me as a Neanderthal. I don't get these things. So. No, but see, this is how you get to unpack these things for somebody like me, right?
Yeah.
So what would be an arrangement?
Yes, so you have a pop song. Let's say that we take Vogue by Madonna. Now that is written with a few backing vocals, but it's not written for all voices. So in a choir you have soprano, alto, tenor, and bass. And so you kind of space the melody out between those voices, and then you add extra notes to that to make a harmony, so that the entire choir can enjoy the song and not just have a soloist to sing.
That's so beautifully put, because I'm getting a sense now that this is actually a community of different voices on stage.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think what's so beautiful about the JQC is celebrating individuality, but in its unity.
Okay, that's interesting. So explain how you would arrange these voices on stage. Give me some kind of description of how you do that.
So you can go the traditional choral route, which is that you have sopranos, tenors, altos, basses standing in position. You have in the classical choir, a traditional choir, you would have the sopranos and altos kind of in the front and the tenors and basses at the back. for us, that doesn't really always work because we want to be everywhere. So for a lot of pieces, we're not always standing in the same position. Sometimes we're standing next to everyone in different voice groups and mixed for a better sound. So it all depends on what sound you are going for. That's how you kind of position everyone on stage in the rosters.
And obviously, you know, we see some footage and some musical or choir events where, you know, your entire choir is actually grooving with the music.
Yes.
Do you get that as well?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We actually, the reason why the community is so great is that we have a creative committee that helps put the show together and plan the show. And we have lovely team members. So Lee Crew is very involved in what the show is going to look like. My job is to make the show sound like I want it. Lee is to make the show look good. And Gia has been fantastic this season with some choreography, which is choir choreography. It's our new word, and we love that.
I think that works perfectly.
Yeah.
And I think you should be entitled to make up whatever word you like.
Exactly. Thank you.
How do you go about selecting the songs?
So what we generally do now is we come up with a theme for the next show, and what we've done in the past is ask the community to suggest songs that they love and that would work great with the theme. And from there, we have a music choosing committee from the choir. So we
a lot of committees, though.
Yeah, we have. So we choose people for every season to help choose the music for us. We've also in the past had a multiple choice on a Google. We love a Google spreadsheet, and we love voting.
Yes.
And so
it's all democratic.
Yes. So we put all the songs together, and then people vote. The choir votes on which songs they would love to have in the next season.
Year on year, there must be certain favorites that will always be a feature.
Yes.
What are those?
For me, my personal favorite, because it was part of my first season as musical director, is Bridge Over Troubled Water. It has such great meaning, but I mean, there's loads that I have favorites of. But what we do, just because we've done it in this season, doesn't mean that we're not going to do it in the future. And so we've had some really great rotations of ABBA medleys, etc., etc. So it's great to see what the choir enjoys to sing, and that's also the most fun.
And as you say, submissions, votes.
Yes.
And do you have a mix also of some of the upbeat kind of music and some like Bridge Over Troubled Water is a great example of something that is so soulful and rooted and poetic.
So this is the beauty of being in a choir, is because you can rearrange it and reinvent it, the music can mean something different and you can make it sound even more different. Last season we had a lovely Spice Girls wannabe, but we did it like an English madrigal, like a Renaissance choir. If you want to be my lover, and it got a roaring success. So I think what we like to do is we choose music that means a lot to us, and to put a balanced program together is not just the serious undertones of things, but also to celebrate the joy of who we are and where we come from.
Do you have like sometimes you include a piano there, a keyboard?
Yes. Yeah? So what I'm actually most excited about our show this season is we have a very talented drummer and bass guitarist adding with us. As we normally have just an accompanist, and we have a new collaborative pianist called Alison Gerrica, and she's a phenomenal pianist as well. And so we have a band for this season because our show is about icons, and you can't do that without a band.
Icons.
Yes.
Go into the icons a bit. Tell me, what are the icons? What's the iconography behind this?
Yes. So icons come from the word iconoclast, and that basically means to break the norm and to not conform and to change the world in your own way, in your own individuality, and to celebrate that. And the reason why we are doing icons is to really pay homage to the people that have come before us. And so some of the icons that we have are not just queer icons, but people that have changed the world.
Yeah.
And what I love about this show as well is to also celebrate South African artists like Johnny Clegg and Brenda Fassie, and Mango Groove itself. I mean, a lot of the music that we have from these icons change the world in its own specific way for everyone.
Yeah, that's so true. And in fact, we're very pleased to say Ferguson Media produces Claire Johnston's podcast series called Curiously Claire, and we occupy the very same space.
Oh my word, please tell her I love her.
Yeah, we get that a lot. In fact, episode 1 of Curiously Claire was Claire Johnston talking to PJ Powers. Episode 2 was Kurt Darren. So she exists in a wonderful world of such incredible, iconic voices.
Yes.
She is that as well.
She is that. I think she changed a lot of our lives. I speak to a lot of people in the choir, and Mango Groove is ingrained in a lot of our childhood memories of listening to these songs. And Special Star is just one of the greatest for me personally, and I just love that. Yeah.
So what kind of lives do your members have? Do they all do different things, different jobs, different lives, and then they all congregate, they gather together for the music?
Yes. The greatest thing I think is everyone has their own life outside of the Tuesday 3-hour rehearsal. You would not expect, for example, a first-year student to be in the same room as a CEO.
Right.
And so it's also so wonderful that we all come together on an equal platform, that you are not kind of intimidated by the people in the room, that you are there with them, and you actually become friends with people that you in your life would never have imagined yourself to have known.
Are there any professional musicians and performers there?
Yes, we do have some professional. We have professional burlesque artists. We have some clay artists in our fields. We have illustrators, graphic designers. There's all kinds of artsy people in our choir, and that's so lovely because we also just celebrate that and try and support each other in all our events.
And do they also maybe collaborate on the production side? So
yes,
maybe people will be helping with social media graphics and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we have lots of people helping us with the animations, taking part in designing posters for us, and I think that's, if you are willing to help the community, we are actually really so fortunate to have these people in our community itself. Yeah.
Does JQC have a home theatre base?
No. So what we do, we have, obviously we spoke about it earlier that you were a part of our first concert at Victory Theatre. And since then we've moved to UJ Art Centre.
Okay.
And now this season's concert, it is our first time at Roodepoort Theatre. And so I think what we are trying to do is to not stay in one place, and that we can reach a bigger audience everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, the troubadours.
Yes. Exactly that. Yeah.
But I'm sure you'll, and it's beautiful that you cater for that as well, inviting people to go into different parts of Johannesburg to see these performances.
Exactly.
Can you believe I've never been to Roodepoort Theatre? I hear, though, that it said it's one of the best venues for a choral performance like this.
Yes, the acoustic is lovely. When we were scouting for venues earlier this year, I think I must have looked absolutely crazy, just like standing around, just clicking and doing all kinds of sound to make sure, okay, this is going to be a good place.
People thought Faye is doing echolocation.
Yeah, like a submarine. But it's a lovely venue, and we're so excited. The facilities are phenomenal. It's going to be amazing to be able to put on a show at Roodepoort Theatre.
So do you have lots of support when it comes to the publicity, and do you get sponsorship and stuff like that?
If you'd like to sponsor us, we
always.
Definitely. So a lot of our stuff at the moment has been through the community. We are always open for sponsorships and things like that. The help is definitely needed because of us putting on the show for our community. It's not necessarily for profit, like we've said. But to be able to also help the community in other ways, we would really love some sponsorships. Yeah.
People would pay to watch this performance.
Yes.
Where does the money go?
So the money goes back into the community. So it's not free, unfortunately, to be able to have a rehearsal venue.
Yeah.
And to have musicians that are going to help and to purchase the music that we perform and to pay the rights for all of these things. So there's money that goes in all kinds of different places for JQC to continue running and staying open.
Yeah.
We do need to have that kind of money to be able to do
Governance is a big thing, though. You know,
Yes.
I'm also part of the South African Guild of Actors, and the governance that comes with running a non-profit organization
Yes.
is intense.
Yes.
And it is the only way to maintain your credibility.
Yeah. It's I think a lot of the idea of, oh, let's start something is great. And then you're like, oh, how do I carry on doing this thing? And how do we build something that's going to last? And what we've been so fortunate to have as committee members have done the research, done the work, or have been professional in those ways, in specialities, to be able to kind of put a governance together, a committee that keeps running and keeps moving and keeps planning for the future is, I think, the greatest thing. Because if you build something and you one day leave it, you would hope that it would last.
I meant to ask you this earlier. Does JQC enjoy pieces from musical theatre?
Love.
Right, you got it,
Absolutely
right?
love. You do. There's multiple times. So one of the great things is we have the choir rehearsal, and sometimes people go out for dinner after the rehearsal.
Yeah.
And so there's the one place that we frequent often because it's right around the corner from our rehearsal venue at Blind Tiger. And a lot of the time, you'll notice that the bartender there just slowly makes the music softer, and all of a sudden people start singing, and this is fun. Or when we ask them to play something, and then it becomes a whole raucous situation of everyone singing together and enjoying the time. So musical theatre is definitely one of those things that rally the troops, for sure.
Talk about rallying the troops. You mentioned earlier this wonderful concept where people get together at a pub, and then all the different groups are rehearsed separately, and then they all come to. What is that? What's it called?
Yes, so we are going to have a fundraiser in July. It's called Bar Choir. And so what happens in the evening is you purchase a ticket and you get your sheet music. And even if you can't read sheet music, you are welcome. We don't really work from that, so you got to learn by ear. And so we teach each voice group their specific parts throughout the night. You may enjoy a beverage whilst doing that. And then at the end of the night, we put the song together with all the voice groups together, and we have a lovely time singing that song, and that's the evening. And I think what's the beauty of this is it doesn't take a 6-month commitment, it just takes one evening.
Yeah.
And I think to just enjoy that fun is for everyone. You don't have, there's no audition. Come as you are, sing as you is, and that's what it's going to be.
Talk about auditions.
Yes.
Did you have to audition coming into the JQC, and how do people normally become part of that choir?
Yes, so when I joined as a singer, I auditioned. So we have an audition process where you sing a song of your own that you've prepared, and then we do some scales and things like that to kind of fit where your voice goes so that you do not sing unhealthily. Because your voice is such a big part of your identity that we don't want to damage, because we forget that the voice is your instrument, so the instrument is your entire body. We don't want to damage that. So that's kind of the important reason why the audition is there, to make sure that you are in the correct voice group. Yeah.
Collaborations, have you worked with other choral societies?
Yes, so we have had the lovely privilege of taking part in Choral Celebration Network Foundation.
Yeah.
And that is also an organization I work with myself in my own personal capacity. But it is a phenomenal foundation that started where it travels around the country, in rural areas and in urban areas, to put on a choir festival where all choirs in that community is welcome to come perform. So the performances we've had there is at the Linda Auditorium for Johannesburg, but they put on shows in Kimberley, in Limpopo, Eastern Cape, everywhere, and they are also really good with doing choir workshops with everyone. So we've had a lovely time performing in their concerts, because it's not just grown-up choirs, it's high school choirs, it's primary school choirs, it's all kinds of community choirs coming together in a concert, which you would never really see traditionally. You would either just go see one choir, or you would see all just school choirs. This is everyone together, which is phenomenal.
I think that's amazing. Faye Prinsloo, musical director of the Joburg Queer Chorus, JQC. You've got events coming up. I wish you all the best for that.
Thank you.
For the fundraiser, it sounds fantastical, happening in July.
Yes.
And we hope to come and cover more of your stuff, maybe live in performance would be amazing.
That would be phenomenal.
So from Ferguson Media and the Good News Check-In, thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much.